What do you want to be when you grow up? It's the age-old question we all have heard before, one that we'll probably spend the remainder of our lives trying to figure out. For me, it's been the same since I was a kid. To be a little bit taller. As you can imagine, as a former two-sport Southeastern Conference athlete, hailing from the University of Tennessee, I might have a glaring shortcoming in the aspect of collegiate sports. But before I became a scholarship athlete, before becoming a Tennessee Letterman Hall of Famer, running through the Power T for the first time, hearing the roar of 101,000 screaming fans, I had a tryout. Let me set the scene for you. Imagine walking into the massive Anderson Training Complex at the University of Tennessee. Inside, there are more than 100 eager athletes ready to perform in front of the coaches. All of them are nervous, except for me. I was a proven athlete. I was a college transfer from the University of Pittsburgh. I knew the coaches, they knew me. This tryout was a formality until we got on the field. So I performed like a pro. I ran a 4.40, blazing fast, had a 40-inch vertical. I dominated all of the testing drills. The position drills, it was clear who the best athlete was on the field. No contest. That's until we posted the roster selections. Now, I go over to the wall, casually, because, I made the team. I go over to the wall, I scan it. Again, and again, and again. My name's not on the list. I didn't make the team. We'll come back to this. In life, we will all encounter obstacles, limitations that we do not believe will allow us to be successful, challenges that seem insurmountable. But it's how we respond to these challenges that truly dictate our outcomes and our successes. So think with me for a moment. What are the greatest challenges in your life? What are the obstacles that you're facing? What is it that you don't believe will allow you to be successful? Now, being short could be a potential shortcoming in itself, right? Whether that's in sports like football and basketball, changing a high light bulb, reaching the top shelf, not needing a step stool for everything that I do, I digress. But it's how we overcome these shortcomings with the tools that we are given. Today, I want to give you a tool to help you overcome your shortcomings, called the 5 W's. Now, let's start with the first W. Who? Who are you? And not in the my name is Corey Alexander sense of the word, but who are you at the core? Who are you trying to be? What is it that you want to accomplish? Knowing yourself is the first step in this entire journey. So with that being said, if you don't know who you are, you can't build on this process. You have to acknowledge your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, your fears. Reflect on the experiences and the patterns that have shaped you. Understand that the basis for your entire journey is built upon knowing yourself. If you know yourself, you can create and craft the roadmap for your journey. Now, I understand how this can be difficult as we're ever changing. So, my dad, he used to play a little football himself, and he was an expert at picking apart my film, which is ironic because my favorite film is Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, not my high school football film. There's an iconic scene in Gladiator in which the emperor, Marcus Aurelius, says to his son Commodus, "Your faults as a son is my failure as a father." During film sessions, my dad used to semi-jokingly say this to me, that my faults were his failures. And now as an adult, anytime I mess anything up, I remind him that my faults are his failures. Long story short, if you don't know who you are, blame your parents. And if you have any shortcomings, it's all their fault. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. I hope you have a wonderful day. Good night. All joking aside, it's important to know who you are. Now, with that being said, that leads us directly into the most important piece is what? What are you trying to do, though? If you don't know what it is you're trying to accomplish, you're just going to waste your time. So, when it comes to the what, you have to define your success. What is success truly to you? Is it financial stability, personal growth, making a positive impact, all the above? What has to be a focus for you because it helps determine your destination? Now, I mentioned that my dad played a little football. By a little, I mean he played 12 years in the NFL. So you can imagine how film sessions really were in my household. He said something that was so inspiring to me. He said, "Corey, you may never be the fastest, you may never be the strongest, you never might be the tallest, or even the best athlete. But what you can be is the smartest athlete on the field. You can study the game, you can learn your craft. Be consistent in those things, and that's how you'll get to wherever you want to be." He's the smartest man that I know. I recognize this is the first time he's hearing this speech. It's going to go straight to his head. He will not hear the rest of it. We'll deal with that later. But with his advice, I crafted my goal. I studied my game. I watched and learned from experts. I focused on where my ultimate goal was. So let's go back to looking at that board over and over. Once, read through it twice, looked at it 3 times. You probably thought I didn't know how to read at this point. It was very clear that no matter my talent, no matter how good I was on that field, all the coaches saw were my shortcomings. So in that moment, a decision needed to be made. I could either allow my dream to end right then and there, or I can be patient and wait for the right opportunity to present itself. Which brings us into that third W, win. Speaking of timing, we are all given a certain amount of time in a day, a week, a month, a year, in our lifetimes. We must know when to move. Now, sometimes that requires patience. Sometimes it requires urgency, but it always requires action. Win can be predicated on circumstance, but you must know yourself and what you're trying to accomplish. That helps determine your best when to act. This journey, it's not supposed to go the way you believe it is. It's not going to unfold according to your plan. Success is a process, not an event. But that requires patience and timing. Embrace the value and importance of patience and timing because it allows you to learn, adapt, and grow and seize the right opportunities. Now, the burning question is still out there. Corey, you just said you didn't make the team, but you play football. What happened? Well, I ran track. I utilized my talents and skills in other areas to leverage an opportunity to go through an open window when the door was seemingly closed. Don't underestimate who you are and what you've been through. Your talents will come in handy when you least expect it. Hard work and perfect timing will always intersect if you're patient but consistent. Like I said, success is a process, not an event. This leads us directly into that fourth W. Where? Where are you right now in your life? And where are you trying to go? Where are you mentally, physically, emotionally, geographically to make something happen? Where is about creating the right environment for your success? If you don't create the right where, you're not setting yourself up for success on this journey. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals, positivity, and motivation. Whether that be in your workplace, your community, or your personal space, ensure that it aligns with what your goals are to help you get to where you're trying to go. Creating the right where and surrounding yourself with the right people help to build resilience because you're going to need it on this journey to success. My where happened to be in the community that I built outside of football, but within track. I had a teammate. He was also my roommate, and he was also my good friend. His name was Reggie. Reggie was a track athlete who had aspirations to play football and had a meeting with the director of player personnel at the University of Tennessee named Scott Altizer. During this meeting with Scott, Reggie was asked if he had any teammates that were fast, had good grades, had a little bit of speed, could make an impact on the football team, were hard workers, and deserved a shot to be a walk-on football player. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's amazing what happens when you put the right people around you and build the right community, what can truly happen. And that leads us directly into the fifth W. Why? Why is your purpose? Why is the most important part of this journey? Because if you do not have a strong why, none of what we've discussed today matters. Your why has to be bigger than anything else because it is what's going to keep you going when everything tells you to stop. And that's in every aspect of your life. Cultivate a strong sense of purpose because it is what's going to keep you grounded and motivated. My why was never about me. My why was about the people that I wanted to make proud of me. My who, what, when, and where all fell into place. And my why is what carried me from being a standout walk-on football player that earned his scholarship. Because my why is what kept me grounded and focused when every setback, limitation, obstacle, and challenge and shortcoming got in the way. The most important piece of all of this is having a strong sense of purpose. So you must know yourself, define your success, embrace timing and patience, create the right environment, cultivate a strong sense of purpose. It's important to remember that success is the journey, not the destination. Utilize the 5 W's to help craft a framework for your success. Just another tool to put in your belt. And yes, I did play football at the University of Tennessee. I'm just making that clear. There is no greater feeling in the world than putting on that Tennessee orange with my family name on the back, representing the flagship school of the great state of Tennessee, knowing that all of my hard work had paid off when I ran through the tee for that first time, hearing the roar of 101,000 screaming fans, encapsulating my journey to success. Don't let your shortcomings define your outcome.